The Galaxy S26 Ultra is the best Android phone yet with a truly innovative and useful privacy display. You also get promising agentic AI features like Now Nudge, a thinner and lighter design, and better photos in low light. But the camera bump is a bit much and there is still no silicon carbon battery. Here is the pros and cons in my full review. The Galaxy S26 Ultra is supposed to herald the age of agentic AI phones, but that doesn't mean much to the average person wondering if it's the best phone they can buy or if they should upgrade. The gist is that the AI inside this flagship should now be able to anticipate your needs better and help get stuff done for you. For example, the Now Brief feature surfaces recommendations based on the context of your texts. So, if someone asks you what time you want to go to the lunch, a little calendar button shortcut will show up, and soon, with automated app actions, you will be able to use your voice to do things like book an Uber or create a DoorDash order in the background via Gemini. In other words, apps are about to become a lot less relevant. Personally, I am more impressed with the S26 Ultra's hardware plus software innovations. Things like privacy display, which obscures private info from onlookers and can do so on an app-by-app basis, and the new horizon lock for shooting video, keeping your footage super steady no matter how shaky your hands. The Galaxy S26 Ultra is also lighter and thinner than its predecessor, and its camera system is noticeably improved in low light conditions. However, there are some things I don't like about the S26 Ultra, including its oversized camera bump and that its screen is dimmer than the previous S25 Ultra. Samsung's Galaxy S26 Ultra has a release date of March 11. The Galaxy S26 Ultra remains a steep $1,299, but at least Samsung didn't give this flagship a $100 price hike like the regular S26 and S26 Plus. You can also get up to $900 off with an instant trade-in credit. Just like before, the S26 Ultra starts with 256 GB of storage, but you can upgrade to 512 GB for $1,499 and 1 TB for $1,799. You notice the biggest difference between the Galaxy S26 Ultra and iPhone 17 Pro Max as soon as you pick these phones up. The S26 Ultra with just 7.55 ounces compared to 8.22 ounces for Apple's big screen flagship. The S26 Ultra is also thinner and lighter than the S25 Ultra, but also a smidge taller and wider. Samsung was able to achieve this weight loss partially because it ditched the titanium frame for aluminum, and I don't think it's a huge loss. The S26 Ultra also has more rounded corners versus the S25 Ultra, which helps make the phone look more unified with the rest of Samsung's new lineup, but it also makes it look more like an iPhone at a glance. I'd actually rather my $1,300 phone visually stand out compared to Samsung's other phones, but then again, I am a phone snob. My bigger issue is with the S26 Ultra's huge camera bump. The translucent pill-shaped glass plateau looks sleek compared to the floating lenses on the S25 Ultra, but the thickness of the bump itself causes the newer phone to wobble a lot more when placed flat on a table. And while the camera plateau on the iPhone 17 Pro Max is even bigger, it stretches across the back of the phone and therefore doesn't result in wobble. The other bummer about the S26 Ultra is that it lacks QI2 magnets for MagSafe-like charging. You will need to use a case once more to get the functionality. Samsung purposely left off these magnets in order to create a thinner and lighter design while also making the vapor chamber for cooling bigger. Samsung says that 98% of its customers get a case anyway, and that's probably a good idea. The back of my Cobalt Violet model picked up a noticeable scratch on the back in just a few days. I do like this color the best, though you can also pick from black, white and sky blue, and you can order silver shadow and pink gold exclusively on Samsung.com. The S Pen on the Galaxy S26 Ultra for me is a bit more valuable than it used to be. Sure, you can use it to take notes or make fine edits on photos, but it really comes in handy when using AI apps like Creative Studio. I draw a very crude rabbit and the app turned it into a sharp and fun illustration I could then share or use as a sticker. And within the Gallery app, I could draw things to add them to my photos. While the S Pen looks similar to the one on the S25 Ultra, it's a bit slimmer and back is now curved to match the look of the S26 Ultra's more curved chassis. Now this is a clever idea. So clever I could say Apple stealing it. The privacy display on the Galaxy S26 Ultra uses a combination of hardware and software to keep shoulder surfer from gawking at your screen. This tech blows away third-party privacy screen protectors you peel and stick onto your phone because you can turn the feature on and off at will. The S26 Ultra has dedicated narrow pixels that only shows you what you want to see when privacy display is enabled, and it works like magic. Just turn on privacy display from the quick setting menu, turn your phone and your screen suddenly becomes blank. It gets better. I really appreciate that you can customize which apps automatically turn privacy display mode on, whether it's Gmail or your banking app. The Galaxy S26 Ultra can even obscure just particular parts of the display, such as notification pop-ups as they come in. I tested this out with message notifications and it worked well. Based on our testing, the Galaxy S26 Ultra's display is slightly dimmer than the Galaxy S25 Ultra's panel, even with privacy displays mode turned off. For example, the Galaxy S26 Ultra reached a max 1806 nits of brightness with HDR content compared to 1860 for Galaxy S25 Ultra. When viewed head-on, I could tell that the Galaxy S25 Ultra's screen was brighter when viewing website on Chrome, even though it was not dramatic. But you really notice a difference when you view the screen off angle. That's the price you pay for privacy display, and I personally think it's worth paying if you really care about privacy. Don't get me wrong, this is a fantastic OLED display on the Galaxy S26 Ultra. It also benefits from an improved ProScaler that makes photos and videos appear sharper, and you get more lifelike colors thanks to Samsung's mobile digital natural image engine. When I watched a video of a helmeted chameleon side by side on the Galaxy S26 Ultra and S25 Ultra, the older phone's screen was indeed brighter, but the chameleon looked sharper with more contrast through the S26 Ultra. Outdoors, the Galaxy S26 Ultra's display was brighter than the iPhone 17 Pro Max in direct sunlight, even though the iPhone turned in slightly better results in our lab testing. In our previous iPhone 17 Pro Max vs Galaxy S25 Ultra camera shootout, Samsung lost points for mediocre low-light performance, but Samsung is firing back with a wider aperture on its main 200-megapixel camera and 50-megapixel telephoto lens. The result should be up to 47% and 37% brighter images through these two cameras. So I put that to set the test in a series of shots with the Galaxy S25 Ultra and Apple's Flagship. Check out this zoom shot of Clock Tower. The Galaxy S26 Ultra image is noticeably clearer, while the S25 Ultra shot is fuzzy and chock full of noise. So, however, colors. In this shot of tinted daisies, I prefer the brighter image from the iPhone 17 Pro Max, but the Galaxy S26 Ultra delivers a bit more detail in the petals and more contrast, so it comes down to personal preference. The S26 Ultra fared better indoors too. In this nearly dark room, it shot a brighter image of these decorative flowers and vase. You can make out more detail in the petals and the lamp in the background. The iPhone 17 Pro Max captures an even brighter shot too. Here are some camera samples of the Galaxy S26 Ultra. The Galaxy S26 Ultra has a dizzying array of AI features, so I tested them out to see which ones are worth your time. There is a handful that stand out. The new Now Nudge feature can surface suggestions on the fly based on the context of your texting conversations. When I got a message asking if I was free for lunch on Tuesday at 1 p.m., I pulled up the keyboard and Now Nudge automatically showed me a calendar button so I could jump right over to the app. It also displayed right in the messaging app what was on my calendar at 11:30 through not 1 p.m. Similarly, when I received a message that asked about the photos I took of flowers yesterday, a share photos button appeared. When I clicked that, I saw only pics of flowers from the day before. However, this feature didn't always work as promised. With more general queries, I received dead-end results. The more ambitious agentic AI feature is coming at launch for the Galaxy S26 Ultra, which is called Automated App Actions. The idea is that you will be able to book an Uber, build a grocery cart in Instacart, or order meals in DoorDash via Gemini using just your voice. The S26 Ultra will do the work in background and see your progress, but you will still need to confirm any purchases. I am both excited by this feature and a bit skeptical, but I suppose that's why it will be in the live testing phase at first. Samsung and Google will want to gather feedback from users. Another nifty AI feature on the Galaxy S26 Ultra is an improved circle to search. It's now smart enough so that when you circle someone with a look you like, it will search everything that they are wearing at once, so you can look up all the pieces from the shirt and pants to the sneakers. On the photo front, there's a new photo assist feature in the Samsung Gallery app that lets you use natural language to improve or transform your images. For example, you can put a chewed up cupcake baked together with a prompt of change the time or day or session. I tweaked an image by saying make it daytime and put the sun and clouds in the sky, and the result was pretty convincing. You can even combine images by adding other photos from your gallery into a picture, and you can describe how you want them combined. I had fun putting my puppy in various shots, for example. Believe it or not, Bixby is also still a thing, and it's now supercharged with Perplexity. Bixby comes in handy for quickly tweaking device settings or learning how to do things on your S26 Ultra, but Perplexity integration now adds an extra layer of intelligence. Beyond just summarizing web pages, you can get quick answers to questions. In my case, I asked about the 5 biggest upgrades between the S26 Ultra and S25 Ultra, and the answer was solid. My main complaint with all of these AI features is that it can be hard to know what is available where. Google Photos has different AI functions than the Samsung Gallery app, for example, and a long press of the power button brings up Gemini by default, but you can say "Hey Bixby" to bring up that assistant. I am all for choice, but it can get confusing for me, and I am a nerd. The best thing I can say about the S26 Ultra's performance is that it's fast and remains pretty cool even during intense gaming sessions. This is thanks to a combination of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 Elite chip for Galaxy and a larger vapor chamber for heat dissipation. I played the graphically demanding Wuthering Waves for over an hour, and the S26 Ultra remained fairly cool to the launch. Only the bottom left side of the phone got slightly warm, and the graphics are indeed amazing. Everything from the characters in the game to lighting and water effects look console quality. In the 3D Mark Solar Bay Unlimited test, the Galaxy S26 Ultra turned in a higher frame rate than the iPhone 17 Pro Max and a higher overall score. In Geekbench, which measures processing power, the Galaxy S26 Ultra scored slightly lower than the iPhone in single core but delivered a much higher multi-core score. Even with dozens of apps open, I have no problem at multitasking. When measuring AI performance with Geekbench AI 1.5, the Galaxy S26 Ultra turned in a much higher score when comparing the NPU and neural engine of both chips. That's a 71% gap. I wish Samsung would push the envelope by adapting silicon carbon batteries, which allow you to cram higher capacity batteries into phones, but for now it's sticking with a 5000 mAh lithium-ion battery, and there's a good news and bad news here. The good news is that the S26 Ultra lasted nearly 2 hours longer than the S25 Ultra in our battery test, which involves surfing the web over 5G at 150 nits of screen brightness. This could be due to the efficiency of the new Snapdragon chip or better cooling. The bad news is that the iPhone 17 Pro Max is nearly 2 hours ahead, and the OnePlus 15 with its 7300 mAh silicon carbon battery endured for over 25 hours. That's why it tops our best phone battery life list. Samsung told us it is still investigating this new technology, so maybe we'll see it on the Galaxy S27 Ultra. When it comes to charging, the Galaxy S26 Ultra makes the jump to 60-watt wired charging, and the results were quite good, with the phone reaching 77% charge in just 30 minutes. That's 6% better than the S25 Ultra's 45-watt charging and well ahead of the iPhone 17 Pro Max. The OnePlus 15 charges even faster via its 80-watt charger. Wireless charging has jumped to 25 watt from 15 watt, but again you will need a case to take advantage of magnetic chargers and accessories. The Galaxy S26 Ultra is one of those phones that should get better and smarter over time. The agentic AI features are good now, but should become more useful as the phone gets to know your patterns. And automated app actions seem to have a lot of potential, assuming the integration with Uber, DoorDash, and other apps works as promised. The reasons to get the S26 Ultra right now and upgrade your phone are features like privacy display. At a time phone makers are being criticized for iterative updates, this is a truly innovative feature that solves a problem, and it is completely customizable. I am also very impressed with the horizon lock feature when shooting video and improved low light photos and videos. I'd like to see a design that doesn't wobble on your desk with a revamped camera bump, and I'm a bit worried that I got a scratch on the back of the phone after just a week of testing. And while the battery life is solid, the iPhone 17 Pro Max is still ahead on endurance, and Samsung could surge ahead if it embraces silicon carbon tech. Overall, I highly recommend the S26 Ultra. It's super smart, sleek, and fast.